Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at a couple of stocks that were hot today and in play, and then we're going to get right into all the Bitcoin and blockchain related stocks. I probably should just made that whole made this whole video focused on that, but I am going to show you first AMPE. It has a very strong uptrend. We've been tracking this and posting charts on it during for a very long time now. It closed up another 21% today. Everybody, not everybody, but I get lots of questions about, longer term swing trades, places to let your money ride for a while. Well, this is the type of chart that you're looking for. You're looking for this type of very strong uptrend. Notice that the middle Bollinger Band has been holding, it broke above all the moving averages in October. On the test, the middle Bollinger Band keeps holding, the uptrend's intact. It gets above the upper Bollinger Band and it pulls back. It's been cruising. It's back above the upper Bollinger Band. It's been holding EMA4 since it got back above on this bounce on the middle Bollinger Band. And so as long as EMA4 at 295 support is holding, the chart is super strong. It signals to keep riding. Once there's a close below, that gives you the chance to possibly reload lower on a pullback. Or if you're a longer term swing trade player and you're just looking at this as a long-term play, as long as that middle Bollinger Band is holding, the uptrend is intact. Okay, there is a bullish volume spike today. It's pushing higher, and so when a stock's pushing higher, we like to look at the weekly chart. And as you can see here on this weekly chart, it's breaking out above the next key level. It's pretty amazing. A couple weeks ago here on this candle in the second week of December, it came up and it hit that 200-week moving average at 246 and pulled back. It formed that long upper wick. We weren't sure if that was going to turn into resistance or not. Well, last week it was able to close above. It was a huge close above, and you could see high of week last week hit that 300-week moving average, which is the blue line at 301, and pulled back. Well, this week it's breaking above that level. Now, this week's candle will not set until the closing bell on Friday, but if it does close above that 300-week moving average for the week, that will be very bullish. You want to, use that $3 level as your stop loss level. You want to keep riding as long as it holds. If you are a trader, if it drops below, that's going to be the signal of consolidation. You could see that 200-week moving average tested. Notice that ever since it started the new uptrend down here in September, it's been riding EMA4 support the entire time. It has not closed below. There was a slight close below right here, but the entire time the pink line is holding. As long as the pink line's holding, just keep riding. You could have just loaded in September and done nothing and been making fat bank. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is just ride. Okay, there can be a thing called over trading. Okay, look here at 340. Okay, this is the big level to break. It's the April close right here. If it can get above 340, then you're looking at the high close, which is the April high closing price at 420. So we're looking above 340. It could possibly run up to 420. 420 is going to be the big level. 420 is the magic number. If it can break that, it could break out to the next level. If it hits 420 and fails to break, that could be the temporary top that everyone, that could be coming. Who knows? It's just pushing higher. It's got a beautiful chart. We'll see if $4 becomes that big resistance zone. Okay, IPWR, it's breaking above 50 on RSI at 53 and at 50, just above 50 on Fasto. It's now in the bull zone with a lot of room to run. It closed up 26%. You've got a bullish crossover on ADX. It made the bullish move today above the middle Bollinger Band. That's this dotted purple line at 156. It has to hold that level to stay in play. If it pulls a move like it did in November and gets right back below, it will be a risk to hold. The same thing it did right here. It closed above, failed to hold, and pulled back. So it's all about the middle Bollinger Band. If you see a bullish change in trend and a white candle forms tomorrow, that would be a good sign. Now, if it pulls back below that middle Bollinger Band, it could come down and fill this gap. Notice there's this gap between these two candles. It dropped down to 135 would fill the gap. So if you're a bull, your stop loss is that 156 level. On the upside, you want to see a break above that 50-day simple moving average at 176. Notice it broke that level intraday. We wanted to see a close above that level. It was not good that it closed below. Okay, this big long upper wick is that dilution, big spike down in accumulation distribution and CM shaking money flow today. They were obviously dumping shares into the run. If it can get above that 50-day simple moving average, then it's the 200-day simple moving average at 212 that needs to break that level, broke intraday, and that will be the next key level. There was a PSAR bull flip and MACD bull crosses. The chart's all set up. It just looks like the company needs to hold off on dumping shares, and they could let it run. Many times these penny stocks, the companies are their own worst enemies with their dilution. Okay, so let's look at DSS. This stock is got a beautiful uptrend. All right, so it's got the nice uptrend going. It broke above all the moving averages back here. Notice how it was below all of these lines down here in November, and then once it got above on the 27th, okay, it was trading above the 100, the 300, the 200, and the 50-day simple moving average, and the dotted purple line's the middle Bollinger Band, but it's also the 20-day simple moving average. So once it was trading above all the key levels, it started riding EMA's 4 and 8 support higher. The signal is to ride, and so so far it's been a really good swing trade. It came down on Friday and tested that EMA 13, and that level held. That was very bullish. It's back above EMA 4 at 201. So that's the big level. It needs to stay above 201 to stay super bullish. If it can't hold 201, that's going to signal more consolidation. It could eventually pull back to this middle Bollinger Band, similar to how it did here at 145. That would be a big drop. The big level to break now is this closing price at 220. If it can get above 220, then we're looking at that high close there at about 260 on the 18th is the big level. Okay, let's look at RIOT. Okay, it had a nice bounce today. You notice that RSI and Fasto are in the bull zone. Okay, they're well below overbought levels. This has a very nice uptrend as well. Okay, so it had the tight, it had a nice uptrend, formed the tight channels. Notice the light volume. Big volume came in, pushed it higher. It came back. Notice how it's been holding EMA 13 support during the run, and then once it came back on Friday, it broke below EMA 13. That was a red flag. The middle Bollinger Band did hold at 2263. That was very bullish. That's exactly what you want to see. That was the reload level, and then today everybody got rewarded. When a stock's in a very strong uptrend, the middle Bollinger Band is the bottom of the channel, and that's always the reload level. If it holds, it paid off again today. Now it's at EMA 4 at 2979 for you traders. I would use that as your stop loss. You don't want to be holding if it drops below, because then it could pull back down to that middle Bollinger Band. If you're a longer term swing trader, as long as that middle Bollinger Band's holding, then the uptrend is intact. It needs to get back above the high close, which is the closing price on the 19th, which is above 38. If it can close above 38, that'll signal that it wants to head higher. Okay, let's look at GROW. This stock has a very similar pattern. It closed up 9% today. It's back above 50 on RSI. That's what you want to see. You want to see it stay above 50 now. It's got to stay. If it drops below 50, then that's going to be a red flag. Okay, so you want to see it stay above 50. It had that 4 big red candles in a row. Notice the big gap down. Okay, and then it formed this candle on Friday that was very similar to a hammer, but it did have the upper wick, so it wasn't a hammer, but it has a similar type of candle where there was loading off of the low, and they were loading off of our 50-day simple moving average support zone alert that we put out. We said this was the load zone. It didn't quite hit that, but it did, hit that zone, call it the zone, and bounced off of that level. And then today it formed a bullish kicking reversal pattern. So so this is a good reversal pattern. It would be stronger if the candles were more like the Marubozu candles. You can see here it could be or a black candle or a white candle. So it's not as strong of a pattern because the long upper wicks and the small real candle bodies, but nonetheless it is the bullish kicking pattern. And so what this needs to do, it has to get above the middle Bollinger Band and EMA's 4, 8, and 13. Once it's above 490, that's EMA 8 there, the top moving average of these 4, that'll signal that it's ready to head higher, and then we'll be talking about a run back up to the upper Bollinger Band and the closing price on the 13th, just above 680. That is the key level to break. If this middle Bollinger Band at 471 turns into resistance, that's going to signal the start of a downtrend, and you would see the 50-day simple moving average retested. Back in November when it dropped below the middle Bollinger Band, it was able to get back above and continue the uptrend. That's what bulls are looking for here. Okay, let's look at SSC. This is closed up 10% today. Notice how it's been able to stay strong on RSI. RSI is still above 70. It's one of the stronger Bitcoin blockchain related stocks. You've got Fasto still below 80. This has a very nice push going on the daily chart. Notice how it didn't break down like some of the other ones. It had the gap down open on Friday. Notice this is the open down here, and it actually came so far. It opened way down here below 420, and it was able to close at almost 540. I mean, it closed above the closing price on Thursday of last week. That was a phenomenal move. Showed incredible strength. And then today it closed above high close resistance, which was the closing price on the 20th here. And so the close above this, this is the closing. This is the open at 620, and this is the close down here at 560 on this black candle. And so the close above that level, that's a close above the high close resistance. That signals more upside potential, and this could break out higher. Now, since EMA4 support's been holding, notice that all these candles have closed above the pink line. That's the key level to hold. Once you see it close below that level, that's when you could see some consolidation. As long as this middle Bollinger Band way down here at 361 is holding, the uptrend is intact. You can see how when candles get above the middle upper Bollinger Band and they pull back to the middle Bollinger Band, it can be a long process. It could take several days, and you could see a big decline. That's the kind of thing that could happen here once it retraces back to the middle Bollinger Band, and that's why we don't like to hold when EMA4 support breaks. Okay, let's look at SSC on the weekly chart. So it has this is a weekly chart that we have been working on. It has this really strong uptrend going. It's parabolic. It's just pushing super freaking hard for 3 weeks in a row here. Check out the huge volume spike last week. Look at the long upper wick, and then today it has the gap up open and it's pushing higher. Well, the key level to break is from back here in March of or is that February? Yeah, the February, March 2014, the February high close. And so yeah, I got the information up here. We've been working on this chart for a while, and so basically we're calling it about 620 or so. If it can close above this level, then it could head higher. If it hits this $6, $6.25 zone and fails to break, then it's completed this cycle. The peak from 2014, it came all the way down to the low in 2017, and now it's made its way all the way back up to the peak in 2014. So the cycle is now complete here with the last week's candle hitting that level, and so it has to close above to head higher. Failed to close above, and that signals a temporary top, and then you could see the candles work back down to EMA4 down here at 480. Okay, let's look at GBTC. Okay, we're switching over to the OTC stocks here. The other stocks were all big board plays. The next stocks are going to be over the counter, Bitcoin blockchain related. Here's GBT. This is Bitcoin Investment Trust. It follows Bitcoin's action and it movements, and it closed up 18% today. Notice it had the big bounce off the 50-day simple moving average on Friday. That was the low level. Notice down here at 1300. Just keep that in mind. When the middle Bollinger Band breaks and it drops down the 50-day simple moving average, that's always your key level to try to load as long as support holds. It was able to drive all the way back like SSC. It was super strong on Friday and hit that middle Bollinger Band. Now it's back above the middle Bollinger Band and above EMA's 4, 8, and 13. It needs to stay above EMA's 4 and 13, 8 and 13 to head higher. Notice there is a gap between these two candles. It could come back and test that middle Bollinger Band to fill the gap if EMA's 4, 8, and 13 fail to hold. If it can stay above, then we're looking at a pushback higher. This 2700 is a big level to break from the closing price from back here on the 15th. Okay, so yeah, so if it can break above this 2400 level, look for 2700 as the next key level to break. It has to hold that middle Bollinger Band to keep the uptrend going. If that middle Bollinger Band breaks, it will signal downside risk and the possible start of a new downtrend. Okay, let's look at GLNNF. Okay, yeah, this stock had a nice bounce today. These annotations are old. This is a chart we've been working on. But yeah, as I showed here, that when Fasto gets below 20, it tends to bounce, okay? And that's exactly what happened here. Once again, history repeats. That's what we, I posted the below. Basically, the bottom line is it's got a double bottom going. And so we were lining this up with the bounce off of the 50-day simple moving average at 139. That's the green line. Notice it hit, that this 139 support level, the 50-day simple moving average support level, and bounced off in early December, came back up, and then came back down, and it hit this level on Friday and bounced off of the 50-day simple moving average. That was the load zone. So yeah, congrats to everybody that was able to get those low numbers on Friday. And then today there was nice follow through. So we got the nice bounce. It's got upside potential now. It looks like bullish engulfing reversal pattern formed. What we want to see is that 50-day simple moving average hold. As long as it holds, there's upside potential. It has to get above EMA 4 or 8 and 13, above 173, and then you have the middle Bollinger Band on deck. Once it gets back above the middle Bollinger Band at 190 and turns that level into support, it can get a new uptrend going. If it fails to break EMA 13 at 173, it could consolidate further. Okay, let's look at GLNNF on the 15-minute chart. And so you can see here what's going on. It was up here in the 190s back on the 18th, and it was struggling with the 300 simple moving average. That's this blue line over here. So you can look over here on the left side of the screen, and you can see it's failing to break the blue line, and it pulled back. Well, it dropped way down here to the 120s on Friday, and then now it's worked its way back up. And as you can see here, it's right back at that 200 and 300 simple moving average, the same level that it struggled with on the 18th and 19th. And so now what we're looking for is a bullish change in trend. We want to see a break above that level. It happened to close above today, so if it can stay above 168, we're looking for more upside potential. If 168 turns into resistance, then you could see that middle Bollinger Band tested. You could see more consolidation. So above 168, and that signals that it could run back up to the 2s. Okay, let's look at BTSC. Okay, the stock, had a nice bounce. On Friday, it came back. It hit that 50-day simple moving average, very similar to GLNNF. Notice how it bounced off the 50, and then it did it again here. It formed a nice reversal pattern on Friday. As you can see here, it formed bullish engulfing. So this is a very strong, very strong reversal pattern on Friday. And then today, the white candle has confirmed that pattern. So you have bullish reversal confirmation. Last time it had bullish reversal confirmation, it failed to follow through. It did form a small candle today. What we're looking for now is a break above 32. If it can get above the middle Bollinger Band, dotted purple line at 32, it could get a new uptrend going. If that 32 level turns into resistance, you could see more consolidation and that 50 simple moving average tested. Okay, let's look at BTCS. Okay, so the stock closed up 12% today. It has RSI and Fasto still in the bull zone. They're not at overbought levels currently. It had a nice bounce as well on Friday. As you can see, it came down and it hit that middle Bollinger Band, the dotted purple line, and the 100-day simple moving average at 14 and 15, and bounced really nicely. And then once again, similar to some of the other strong charts that we showed you, it actually closed above the closing price on Thursday. So this was a sector-wide beatdown, all right, and then multiple stocks bounced back, and as you can see, some of them bounced back stronger than others. And so generally what you want to do when you have a sector-wide rally is focus on the strongest ones. If you're a bull, try to go to where the strength is, and that's where you're more likely to profit. And so right now we've got nice follow through for BTCS. It's hitting the key resistance level. It has to break the closing price on the 19th. It struggled with that today. If you get above 25, and then the closing price on the 20th. So it's this 25 and 26 are the big levels. Get above 26, and it could really get moving. You have some resistance at 28 from back here, but above 28, this could run back up into the 40s. Keep in mind they have a merger that's supposed to be happening at some point, and so yeah, if that comes through, that could be good news as long as it's not a sell the news kind of thing. You know how that goes. Okay, let's look here at MGTI. Okay, so it closed up at 9% today. This was a nice move as well. It very similar to the last chart I was showing you. It had the pullback. It was above the upper Bollinger Band here, and then it almost looks like it formed bearish dark cloud cover here on the 20th. It pulled back. I'm not sure if it did or not. It has to, in order to form bearish dark cloud cover, the red candle, this red candle would have to close more than halfway into the previous white candle. It looks like it did, and so yeah, and so anyways, you've got a nice bounce off the middle Bollinger Band, and then today a white candle formed. It's above EMA's 4 and 8. 531 is the key level to hold. You want to see it stay above that pink line, and then you want to see it get above the closing price here on the 18th. That's 575. If you get above hold the pink line, get above 575, then you're talking about a run back up to the upper Bollinger Band and the closing price on the 19th here back into the 7s. And so yeah, if it fails to struggles with this EMA 4 and it turns into resistance, that's more likely you're going to see consolidation. You could see a drop back down to that middle Bollinger Band at 375. Okay, let's look at GOHE. Okay, so this stock closed up 18% today, made a really nice move. It's in the bull zone on RSI. It had the big pullback. This was one of the stocks that performed really well, consolidated, then it finally broke down a couple weeks ago. The candle started writing EMA's 4 and 8 resistance lower, and then on Friday it formed almost this looks very similar to a hammer here. It has to be twice as long of the wick. It's not a hammer, but it has the similar type of pattern where you have the long lower wick showing loading off of low of day, and then today you have a nice white candle formed. And once again, you have another bullish reversal pattern that formed, this time bullish one white soldier. And so, yeah, so this is another strong reversal pattern. You can go back and read that. When the this is signaling that it should try to break out higher. It had formed bullish Harami here, and it failed to follow through. So it's been failing to to confirm these reversal patterns. So that would be a bullish change in trend if it did confirm this tomorrow. And what you want to see is a close above EMA 8 at 0.075. That would signal more upside potential. If the middle Bollinger Band at 0.067 turns into resistance, that'll signal downside risk, and you could see a drop down to the 50-day simple moving average of 0.038. The big level to break to the upside is this closing price on the 13th at 12 cents. Okay, let's look at DIGAF for the final stock in this video. It closed up 26% today. Once again, it had the nice bounce off the middle Bollinger Band on Friday. You notice the lower wick came down into that 50-day simple moving average zone. It held the middle Bollinger Band. Now it's got the white candle back above EMA 4. The two big levels, once again, are the 18th and 19th. If it can get above the closing price on the 19th there at 75 cents, that's going to signal it wants to head higher. So keep an eye on it for a break above 75. That's going to signal this is headed back up to dollar land. Notice that last week it hit that dollar land zone. Okay, so a stock like this, you want to see it get above $1 and hold that level. Check out the big volume spikes last week. Many times volume precedes price. This is in a very strong uptrend, and it's trading above the 200, 300, 100, and 50-day simple moving averages, above the middle Bollinger Band, which is the 20-day simple moving average, and EMA's 13, 8, and 4. So it's above all the moving averages and heading higher. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. Please check us out in our chat. I'll post a link at the end of below the video. If you like this information, please hit the like button, and if you could, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you.